Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. We welcome all devotees for our Krishna book reading, chapter 71, Krishna in Indraprastha city. We are reading from the middle of this chapter. Oh, yesterday we could have completed this chapter. So yesterday we read about Yudhishthir and Pandavas welcoming Lord Krishna and his all the entourage to their palaces. And today we will read the next chapter, following this chapter. So I will read from one paragraph previous to that. When the Lord Krishna entered the palace, all the ladies there were overwhelmed with affection just upon seeing him. They immediately received Lord Krishna with glittering eyes, expressing their love and affection for him. And Lord Krishna smiled and accepted their feelings of gestures of reception. When Kunti, the mother of Pandavas, saw her nephew, Lord Krishna, Supreme Personality of Godhead, she was overpowered by love and affection. She at once got up from her bedstead and appeared before him with her daughter-in-law Draupadi, and in maternal love and affection she embraced him. As he brought Krishna with him, as he brought Krishna in the palace, within the palace, King Yudhishthira became so confused in his jubilation that he practically forgot what he was to do at that time to receive Krishna and worship him properly. Lord Krishna delightfully offered his respects and obeisances to Kunti and other elderly ladies of the palace. His younger sister Subhadra was also standing there with Draupadi, and both offered their respectful obeisances unto the lotus feet of the Lord. At the indication of her mother-in-law, Draupadi brought clothing, ornaments, and garlands, and with this paraphernalia, they received the queens Rukmini, Satyabhama, Bhadra, Jamvati, Kalindi, Mitravinda, Lakshmana, and the devoted Satya. These principal queens of the Lord Krishna were first received, and then the other queens were also offered a proper reception. King Yudhishthira arranged for Krishna's rest and saw that all who came along with him, namely his queens, his soldiers, his ministers, and his secretaries, were comfortably situated. He had arranged that they would experience a new feature of reception every day while staying as guests of the Pandavas. It was during this time that Lord Sri Krishna, with the help of Arjuna, allowed the fire god Agni to devour Khando forest for his satisfaction. During the forest fire, Krishna saved the demon Mayasur who was hiding in the forest. Upon being saved, Mayasur felt obliged to the Pandavas and Lord Krishna, and he constructed a wonderful assembly house within the city of Hastinapur. To please Krishna, to please King Yudhishthira, Lord Krishna remained in the city of Hastinapur for several months. During his stay, he enjoyed strolling here and there. He used to drive on chariots with Arjuna, and many warriors and soldiers used to follow them. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport of 17th chapter of the book Krishna, entitled Lord Krishna in Indrapacity. Chapter 71. So now we are entering in chapter number 71, Liberation of King Jarasandha. So let me Right. So now we are reading this chapter. Liberation of King Jarasandha. Chapter 17. Liberation of King Jarasandha. In the great assembly of respectable persons, citizens, friends, relatives, brāhmaṇas, kshatriyas, and vaishyas, King Yudhishthira, in the presence of all, including his brothers, directly addressed Lord Krishna as follows: My dear Lord Krishna, sacrifice known as Rasu Yagya is to be performed by the emperor, and it is considered to be the king of all sacrifices. By performing this sacrifice, I wish to satisfy all demigods who are your empowered representatives within this material world. And I wish that you will kindly help me in this great adventure so that it may be successfully executed. As far as Pandavas are concerned, we have nothing to ask from the demigods. We are personally fully satisfied by being your devotees. As you say in Bhagavad Gita, persons who are bewildered by material desires worship the demigods. But our purpose is different. I want to perform this Rasu sacrifice and invite the demigods to show them that they have no power independent of you. They are all your servants and you are Supreme Personality of Godhead. Foolish persons with poor fund of knowledge consider your lordship an ordinary human being. Sometimes they try to find fault in you and sometimes they defame you. Therefore, I wish to perform this Rasu Yagya. I wish to invite all the demigods, beginning from Brahma, Shiva, and other exalted chiefs of heavenly planets, and in that great assembly of demigods from all parts of the universe, I want to substantiate that you are Supreme Personality of Godhead and that everyone is your servant. My dear Lord, those who are constantly in Krishna consciousness and who think of your lotus feet or of your shoes certainly become free from all contamination of material life. Persons who are engaged in your service, in full Krishna consciousness, who meditate upon you only or who offer prayers unto you are purified souls. Being constantly engaged in Krishna conscious service, such persons become freed from the cycle of repeated birth and death. They do not even desire to become freed from this material existence or to enjoy material opulences. Their desires are fulfilled by Krishna conscious activities. As far as we are concerned, we are fully surrendered to your lotus feet, and by your grace, we are so fortunate to see you personally. Therefore, naturally, we have no desire for material opulences. The verdict of the Vedic wisdom is that you are Supreme Personality of Godhead. I want to establish this fact, and I also want to show the world the difference between accepting you as Supreme Personality of Godhead and accepting you as an ordinary, powerful, historical person. I wish to show the world that one can attain the highest perfection of life simply by taking shelter at your lotus feet, exactly as one can satisfy the branches, twigs, leaves, and flowers of entire tree simply by watering the root. Thus, if one takes to Krishna consciousness, his life becomes fulfilled, both materially and spiritually. This does not mean that you are partial to Krishna conscious person and you are indifferent to non-Krishna conscious persons. You are equal to everyone. That is your declaration. You cannot be partial to one and not interested in others because you are sitting in everyone's heart as super soul and giving everyone the respect to results of his spiritual activities. You give every living entity the chance to enjoy this material world as he desires. As super soul, you are sitting in the body along with the living entity, giving him the results of his own actions as well as opportunities to turn toward your devotion service by developing Krishna consciousness. You openly declare that one should uh, surrender unto you, giving up all other engagements, and that you will take charge of him, giving him relief from the reactions of all sins. You are like the desire tree in the heavenly planets, which awards benediction according to one's desires. Everyone is free to achieve the highest perfection, but if one does not so desire, then you are awarding of lesser benedictions is not due to partiality. Hare Krishna. Welcome, Aditya Prabhu, after a long time for our evening Krishna book reading. And we are reading from chapter 71 of Krishna book entitled The Liberation of Jarasandha. तो आज हमने चैप्टर शुरू किया है and now we are reading the
Pranam
prayers
Prabhuji,
of
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. So I just read the first two paragraphs, prayers offered by King Yudhishthir Maharaj. Now Krishna will reply uh, to the prayers of Yudhishthira. So you can read next two, three paragraphs.
On hearing this statement of King Yudhishthira, Lord Krishna replied as follows: My dear King Yudhishthira, O killer of enemies, O ideal justice personified, I completely support your decision to perform the Rajasuya sacrifice. By performing this great sacrifice, your good name will remain well established forever in the history of human civilization. My dear King, may I inform you that it is the desire of all great sages, your forefathers, and the demigods, and your relatives and friends, including myself, that you perform the sacrifice. And I think that it will satisfy every living entity. But because it is necessary, I request that you first of all conquer all the kings of the world and collect all requisite paraphernalia for executing this great sacrifice. My dear King Yudhishthira, your four brothers are direct representatives of important demigods like Varuna, Indra, etc. It is said that Bhima was born of the demigod Varuna and Arjuna was born of the demigod Indra, whereas King Yudhishthira himself was born of the demigod Yamaraj. Four brothers were great heroes, and you are the most pious and self-controlled king, and are therefore known as Dharmaraja. All of you are so qualified in devotional service unto me that automatically I have become rivaled by you. Lord Krishna told King Yudhishthira that he becomes conquered by the love of one who has conquered his senses. One who has not conquered his senses cannot conquer the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This is the secret of devotional service. To conquer the senses means to engage them constantly in the service of the Lord. The specific qualification of all the Pandava brothers was that they already served the Lord. One who does engages his senses becomes purified. Purified senses one can service to the Lord. The Lord can thus be conquered by the devotee by loving transcendental service. Lord Krishna continued, there is no one in the three worlds of the universe, including the powerful demigods, who can surpass my devotees in any of the six opulences, namely wealth, strength, reputation, beauty, knowledge, and renunciation. Therefore, if you want to conquer the worldly kings, there is no possibility of their emerging victorious. When Lord Krishna thus encouraged King Yudhishthira, the king's face brightened like a blossoming flower because of transcendental happiness. And thus he ordered his younger brothers to conquer all the worldly kings in all directions. Lord Krishna empowered the Pandavas to execute his great mission of chastising the infidels, miscreant, prince of the world, and giving protection to his faithful devotees. In his Vishnu form, the Lord therefore carries four kinds of weapons in his four hands. He carries a lotus flower and a conch shell in two hands, and in the other two hands he carries a club and a disc. The club and disc are meant for the non-devotees, but because the Lord is the supreme absolute, the resultant action of all his weapons is one and the same. With the club and the disc, he chastises the miscreants so that they may come to their senses and know that they are not all in all. Over them there is the supreme Lord, and by bugling with the conch shell and by offering blessings with the lotus flower, he always assures the devotees that no one can vanquish them, even in the greatest. Uh, yeah, vanquish them even in the greatest calamity. King Yudhishthira, being thus assured by the indication of the Lord Krishna, ordered his youngest brother Sahadeva, accompanied by soldiers of the Shrinjaya tribe, to conquer the southern countries. Similarly, he ordered Nakula, accompanied by the soldiers of Matsyadesh, to conquer the kings of the western side. He sent Arjuna, accompanied by the soldiers of Kekayadesh, to conquer the kings of the northern side, and Bhimsena, accompanied by the soldiers of Madradesh, Madras, was ordered to conquer the kings on the eastern side. It may be noted that by
Yes,
dispatching his younger brothers to
thank you. So we have read till here, and we are reading here that after getting the guidelines from Lord Krishna, Yudhishthira Maharaj sent his four brothers in four directions. And please understand that this western side, northern side, this is not of India. This is of the whole planet Earth. Because earlier, whole world was known as Bharatvarsha. So he sent, for example, Arjuna in the northern side towards Himalayas. That part he sent him. Similarly, he sent Bhimsen towards eastern side, towards Bengal, in our understanding. Like that, Sahadev, Nakul, they were all very expert. So he sent four brothers in four directions. And Yudhishthira is the eldest. So he was operating from Hastinapur. Hastinapur, or at that time, Indraprasth. Indraprasth. Khandaprasth became Indraprasth. So from there, he was ruling the whole world. And for that purpose only, he wanted to perform Rajasuyagya to glorify Krishna and Krishna's devotees. Now we'll see further what happened. So next I will read further two paragraphs. It may be noted that by dispatching his younger brothers to conquer different directions, King Yudhishthir did not actually intend that they declare war with the kings. Actually, the brothers started for different directions to inform the respective kings about King Yudhishthir's intention to perform Rajasuya sacrifice. The kings were thus informed that they were required to pay taxes for the execution of sacrifice. This payment of taxes to King Emperor Yudhishthir meant that the king accepted his subjugation before him. In case of a king's refusal to act accordingly, there was certainly a fight. Thus, by their influence and strength, the brothers conquered all the kings in different directions, and they were able to bring sufficient tax and presentation. These were brought for King Yudhishthir by his brothers. One name of Arjuna is Dhananjay. What is the meaning of Dhananjay? One who conquered tremendous amount of dhan, wealth, both the wealth, not only material wealth, even spiritual wealth. So he was very expert in collecting wealth, spiritually as well as materially. So very briefly here it is mentioned. If you read Mahabharata, there are chapters after chapters how they went and conquered all directions. And during this service, with Arjuna got married with Ullika and three more queens. So basically, he had four wives: Draupadi, Subhadra, Ullika, and I think what is his name? What is her name? Mm,
Kalindi Prabha.
Chitralekha.
Yeah,
Sorry, four wives Arjuna had, right?
that was
So one is Chitralekha, I think. Chitralekha or Chitragandha. You can find in Mahabharata. Similarly, Bhimsen, during this time, he got married to Ghatotkwach's mother, Hidimba. So Hidimba से उनका शादी हुआ and he had a son called Ghatotkwach, which was later killed by Karna in the war of Mahabharata. So like that, there are many stories. And finally, they came back to Hastinapur and submitted all the taxes and presentations. Next, King Yudhishthira was very anxious. However, when he heard that King Jarasandha of Magadha did not accept his sovereignty, seeing that so why he was anxious? Because Jarasandha, who is Jarasandha? Jarasandha is the father-in-law of Kamsa. So he had problem with Pandavas and Krishna. So he refused to accept the rule of King Yudhishthira. Seeing King Yudhishthira's anxiety, Lord Krishna informed him of the plan explained by Uddhava for conquering King Jarasandha. Bhimsen, Arjun, and Lord Krishna then started for Giri, Girivraja, the capital city of Jarasandha, dressing themselves in the garb of brāhmaṇas. This was the plan devised by Uddhav before Lord Krishna started for Hastinapur, and now it was given practical application. So this plan is already discussed in the previous chapter. We read chapter number 70. उसमें उद्धव जी ने ये plan पहले बताया है. Same plan they are following now. King Jarasandha was very dutiful householder and he had great respect for Brahmanas. He was a great fighter, Kshatriya king, but he was never neglectful of the Vedic injunctions. According to Vedic injunctions, Brahmanas are considered to be spiritual masters of all other castes. Lord Krishna, Arjuna, and Bhimsen were actually Kshatriyas, but they dressed themselves as Brahmanas. And at that time, when King Jarasandha was to give him charity to Brahmanas and receive them as guests, they approached him. तो वो उस समय गए जब जरासंध चैरिटी देने के लिए तैयार था. आपने शायद कृष्ण सीरियल में भी देखा होगा, वो दिखाते हैं उसके अंदर जरासंध दान करने के लिए आता है. उस समय तीनों Krishna, Arjun, and Bhimsen, they go as Brahmanas to accept Bhiksham Dehi, charity. Lord Krishna, in the dress of Brahmana, said to the king, "We wish all glories to your majesty. We are three guests at your royal palace, and we are coming from great distance. We have come to ask you for charity, and we hope that you will kindly bestow upon us whatever we ask from you. We know about your good qualities. A person who is tolerant is always prepared to tolerate everything, even though distressful. Just as a criminal can perform the most abominable acts, so a greatly charitable person like you can give anything and everything he is asked for. For a great personality like you, there is no distinction between relatives and outsiders. A famous man lives forever, even after his death. Therefore, any person who is completely fit and able to execute acts which will perpetuate his good name and fame, and yet does not do so, become abominable in the eyes of great persons. Such a person cannot be condemned enough, and his refusal to give charity is lamentable throughout his whole life. Your Majesty must have heard the glorious names of charitable personalities such as Hariścandra, Rantideva, and Mudgal, who used to live only on grains picked up from the paddy field, and the great Mahārāja Śibi, who saved the life of a pigeon by supplying flesh from his own body. These great personalities have attained immortal fame simply by sacrificing this temporary and imperishable body. Lord Krishna, in the garb of Brahmana, thus informed Jarasandha that fame is imperishable, but the body is perishable. If one can attain imperishable name and fame by sacrificing his perishable body, he becomes a very respectable figure in the history of human civilization. Very nice. So Krishna is setting the mood for Jarasandha to give charity. This is the way one should ask for funds. Do the fund collection. First, glorify the person sufficiently that he is happy with our glorification. And what Krishna is telling is the ultimate truth that, like, the body is anyway going to go away, but the name and fame a person uh, accumulates by his good work remains after the body passes away. It will remain for forever, for long, long time. Especially the name and fame of devotees are popular throughout the world, three worlds. Like Prabhupada is famous in all the worlds. So like that. And and like our Goswamis, even after 500 years, we remember them, we sing their bhajans. And like today is the appearance day of Narottam Das Thakur. He appeared so many years before. Now also we remember him, we worship him, we glorify him. Why? Because he used his life life air in to love and serve Krishna and spread Krishna's glories in every town and village. So the name and fame are imperishable, especially for Krishna and Krishna's devotees. Yes, please read next few paragraphs.
From where, Prabhuji? While Lord Krishna was speaking in the garb of the brāhmaṇa along with Arjuna and Bhima, Jarasandha marked that three of them did not appear to be actual brāhmaṇas. There were signs on their bodies by which Jarasandha could understand that they were Kshatriyas. Their shoulders were marked with an impression due to carrying badges, and their voices were grave and commanding. Thus, he definitely concluded that they were not brāhmanas but Kshatriyas. He was also thinking that he had seen them somewhere before. Although the three persons were Kshatriyas, they had come to his door begging alms like brāhmana. Therefore, decided that he would fulfill their desires. In spite of their being Kshatriyas. He thought in this way because their position had already been diminished by their appearing before him as beggars. Under the circumstances, he thought, I am prepared to give them any, even if they ask for my body. I shall not hesitate to offer it to them. In this regard, he began to think of Bali Maharaj. Lord Vishnu, in the dress of a Brahmana, appeared as a beggar before Bali, and in that way he snatched away all of his opulence and kingdom. He did this for the benefit of Indra, who having been defeated by Bali Maharaj, was bereft of his kingdom. Although Bali Maharaj was cheated, his reputation as a great devotee who was able to give anything and everything in charity is still glorified throughout the three worlds. Bali Maharaj could guess that Brahmana was Lord Vishnu himself and that he had come to him just to take away his opulent kingdom on behalf of Indra. Bali's spiritual Balu's spiritual master and family priest Shukracharya repeatedly warned him about this. And yet Bali did not hesitate to give in charity whatever the Brahmana wanted, and at last he gave up everything to that Brahmana. It is my strong determination, thought Jarasandha, that if I can achieve immortal reputation by sacrificing this perishable body, I must act for the purpose. The life of a Kshatriya who does not live for the benefit of the Brahmana is certainly condemned.
Yes. So here Jarasandha, he's also very learned. Only problem with Jarasandha was he had envy towards Krishna because of attachment towards Kamsa and the demonic association. So he's thinking in his mind that if I can become immortal in my name and fame by giving up this perishable body, so so I must do that because anyway the body will go away. So so he was a pious leader. At the same time, he had problem because of his demonic association. He had developed bad. Um, he had developed enmity towards Krishna and Krishna's devotees. Now let us see further what happens. Yeah, please read.
Actually, King Jarasandha was very liberal in giving charity to the Brahmanas, and he informed Lord Krishna, Bhima, and Arjuna, my dear Brahmanas, you can ask from me whatever you like. If you so desire, you can take my head also. I am prepared to give it. After this, Lord Krishna addressed Jarasandha as follows: my dear king, please note that we are not actually Brahmanas, nor have we come to ask for foodstuff or grain. We are all Kshatriyas and we have come to beg duel with you. We hope that you will agree to this proposal. You may not note that here is the second son of King Pandu, Bhimasena, and the third son of Pandu, Arjuna. As for myself, you may know that I am your old enemy, Krishna, the cousin of the Pandavas. When Lord Krishna disclosed their disguise, King Jarasandha began to laugh very loudly, and then in a great anger and in a grave voice he exclaimed, "You fools, if you want to fight with me, I immediately grant you your request. But Krishna, I know that you are a coward. I refuse to fight with you because you became very confused when you faced me in fighting. Out of fear of me, you left your own city Mathura, and now you have taken shelter within the sea. Therefore, I must refuse to fight with you. As far as Arjuna is concerned, I know that he is younger than me and is not an equal fighter. I refuse to fight with him because he is not in any way an equal competitor. But as far as Bhimsena is concerned, I think he is suitable competitor to fight with me. After speaking in this way, King Jarasandha immediately handed a very heavy club to Bhimsena, and he himself took another, and thus all of them went outside the city walls to fight. Bhimsen and King Jarasandha engaged themselves in fighting, and with their respective clubs, which were as strong as thunderbolts, they began to strike one another very severely. Both of them became eager to fight. They were both expert fighters with clubs, and their techniques of striking one another were so beautiful that they appeared to be two dramatic artists dancing on a stage. When the clubs of Jarasandha and Bhimsen loudly collided, they sounded like the impact of big tusks of two fighting elephants, or like a thunderbolt in a flashing electrical storm. When two elephants fight together in a sugarcane field, each of them snatches a stick of sugarcane, and by catching it tightly in its trunk, strikes the other. Each elephant heavily strikes his enemy's shoulders, arms, and collarbones, chest, thighs, waist, and legs, and in this way the sticks of sugarcane are smashed. Similarly, all the clubs used by Jarasandha and Bhimsena were broken, and so the two enemies prepared to fight with their strong-fisted hands. Both Jarasandha and Bhimsen were very angry, and they began to smash each other with their fists. The striking of their fists sounded like the striking of iron bars or like sound of thunderbolts, and they appeared to be like two elephants fighting. Unfortunately, however, neither was able to defeat the other because both were expert in fighting, both were of equal strength, and their fighting techniques were also equal also. Neither Jarasandha nor Bhimsen became fatigued or defeated in the fighting, although they struck each other continually. At the end of a day's fighting, both lived at night as friends in Jarasandha's palace, and the next day they fought again. In this way, they passed 27 days in fighting.
Yes, thank you. Welcome, Manish Prabhu. So, we are reading this chapter of liberation of King Jarasandha, and previous to this paragraph, we have read that Krishna, Arjuna, and Bhimsen they went as brāhmaṇas, and in the name of asking for charity, they asked to fight with Jarasandha without involving any soldiers or any army to save bloodshed. And because Jarasandha was a very liberal king, Dani king like Karna, he was also very charitable. So he gave in charity the request to fight with him. And he decided that Bhimsen was of equal match because Jarasandha had the strength of 10,000 elephants, and Bhimsen also had the strength of 10,000 elephants. So both of them fought for how many days? 27 days. 27 days they fought like anything, back and forth, hitting each other, smashing each other with fists, with iron bars, with sugar cans, and so on, and with boulders, with trees, with so many weapons. And they fought and fought for 27 days. Now we are coming to the last part of this chapter. Now let's see what happens after that. Yes, Manish Prabhu, please read next two paragraphs.
Hare Krishna, Donor Pranam Prabhuji, please accept my humble obeisance into your lotus feet.
Please
On
accept my
the
humble obeisances.
thank you so much, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna Pranam. On the 28th day, Bhishma Sena told Krishna, my dear Krishna, I must frankly admit that I cannot conquer Jarasandha. Lord Krishna, however, knew the mystery of the birth of Jarasandha. Jarasandha was born in two different parts from two different mothers. When his father saw that the baby was useless, he threw the two parts in the forest, where they were later found by a black-hearted witch named Jara. She managed to join the two parts of the baby from top to bottom, knowing Prabhuji yeah, knowing this, Lord Krishna therefore also knew how to kill him. He gave hints to Bhimsen that since Jarasandha was brought to life by the joining of the two parts of his body, he could be killed by the separation of these two parts. Thus, Lord Krishna transferred his power into the body of Bhimasena and informed him of the device by which Jarasandha could be killed. Lord Krishna immediately picked up a twig from a tree and, taking it in his hand, with carted it. In this way, he hinted to Bhimasena how Jarasandha could be killed. Lord Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is omnipotent, and if he wants to kill someone, no one can save that person. Similarly, if he wants to save someone, no one can kill him.
Yes,
Informed,
Mari Krishna, Rakhi Krishna Mari ke. Krishna wants to save someone, no one can harm him. Example, Prahlad. He was tried to kill in so many ways, but nobody could do anything to Prahlad because Krishna wanted to save him. And if Krishna wants to kill someone, nobody can save him. Example, Ravana. He was devotee of Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva could not save his own devotee, Ravana, because Lord Ram wanted to kill him. Lord Shiva is subordinate to Lord Ram, and Ravana is subordinate to Lord Shiva. So when Lord wants to kill someone, nobody can save him, whether he's Shiva, Brahma, or whatever, because ultimately Krishna is Sarva Karana Karanam. So what Krishna wants, that only happens. He can do impossible into possible. So here also, he was helping Bhimsen to kill Jarasandha, and he gave the idea how you can finish um, Jarasandha by bifurcating him in two parts. Now, someone may ask, if Krishna knew everything, why he did not kill himself? Why he engaged Bhimsen in killing Jarasandha? One reason is Krishna wanted to make his devotee glorified. That the credit should come to Bhimsen, that Bhimsen killed Jarasandha because he was having that power and desire to finish Jarasandha. So this is one reason. Second reason, Jarasandha was having some connection with Krishna's family. Krishna's mother, uh, Devki's cousin was Kamsa, and Jarasandha was Kamsa's father-in-law. So he was having family relation. So Krishna did not want to kill anyone from his own family. Apart from Kamsa, he did not kill the Kamsa's brothers. Kamsa's brothers were killed by Baldev. So, so that's why Krishna thought it wise that he employs or he engages Bhimsen in killing or in delivering Jarasandha. But personally, he did not wanted to kill because of family relationship, right? Same with Kalyavan also. Kalyavan also Krishna did not kill himself. So Krishna engaged Muchukund Maharaj to kill Kalyavan. Right. Okay. I think two paragraphs are remaining. Yeah, two paragraphs are remaining. Yeah, Manish Prabhu, please read. Then we'll stop for today.
Informed by the hints of Lord Krishna, immediately, uh, where was
Bhimsen,
that?
you have to
Yeah,
read it
sorry,
from
sorry.
here. Bhimsen.
Informed, yes, yes. Bhimsen immediately took hold of the legs of Jarasandha and threw him to the ground. When Jarasandha fell to the ground, Bhimsen immediately pressed one of Jarasandha's legs to the ground, took hold of the other leg with his two hands, catching Jarasandha, catching Jarasandha in this way, he tore his body in two, beginning from the anus up to the head, as an elephant breaks the branches of a tree in two. So Bhimsen separated the body of Jarasandha. The audience, Prabhuji, could you please scroll down? Standing nearby saw that the body of Jarasandha was now divided in two halves, so that each half had one leg, one thigh, one testicle, uh, one breast, half a bone, backbone, half chest, one collarbone, one arm, one eye, one ear, and one and half face. As soon as the news of Jason's death was announced, all the citizens of Magad began to cry, "Alas, alas!" While Lord Krishna and Arjuna embraced Bhimsen to congratulate him. Although Jarasandha was killed, neither Krishna nor the two Pandavas brothers made a claim to the throne. Their purpose in killing Jarasandha was to stop him from creating a disturbance against the proper discharge of world peace. A demon always creates disturbances, whereas a demigod always tries to keep peace in the world. The mission of Lord Krishna is to give protection to the righteous persons and to kill the demons who disturb a peaceful situation. Therefore, Lord Krishna immediately called for the son of Jarasandha, whose name was Sahadev, and with due ritualistic ceremonies, he asked him to occupy the seat of his father and reign over the kingdom peacefully. Lord Krishna is the master of the whole cosmic creation, and he wants everyone to live peacefully and execute Krishna consciousness. After installing Sahadeva on the throne, he released all the kings and princes who had been imprisoned unnecessarily by Jarasandha. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport of the second volume, 7, 17th chapter of Krishna, liberation of King Jarasandha. Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, thank you. So this is how, by the mercy of Lord Shri Krishna, Bhimsen was able to kill and deliver Jarasandha. जरासंध नाम से ही समझ में आता है. जरा मीन्स उसके माँ का नाम था जरा एंड संध which brought the two parts together. That's how he got the name Jarasandha. And Krishna knew that उसके part separate कर दो and then there will be no problem. And that's how he separated the from the middle, both the parts, without any weapon, just with the hands. He had so much power. He separated exactly right in the middle. So that is the power of Krishna and Krishna's devotees. Okay, so tomorrow we'll read next chapter of Lord Krishna, return to city of Hastinapur. Thank you very much.